Hello and welcome. I am the Restless Kaiser, and once again we are modelling for Advantage. So today we're going to unbox another Gale Force 9 expansion pack for tanks, their World War II setting, and in this particular occasion we're going to unbox the Sherman II. So let's see what we get inside. The usual arrangement: we get a sprue, we get some cards, we get a bit of paper. Starting with the paper then. This is a nice little bit of paper with a photograph of the model painted on the front. It's particularly useful for me in this setting is I'm not entirely sure exactly where the decals go on the British vehicles of this period, so it's quite clearly displayed here, which is nice. This is the Sherman II, so this is a Sherman from the desert era, perhaps going forward to D-Day. The new Sherman tank was the next evolutionary step from the powerful Grant tank. Its large turret allowed it to mount an even more powerful 75mm gun in the turret rather than in the whole front, and with thicker armour. Supplied to the British in large numbers, the American-built Sherman tank would fight through North Africa and Europe until the end of the war. This pack contains an unassembled Sherman II tank, a Sherman II tank card, a hero card, 2 crew cards, and an upgrade, 2 upgrade cards. The usual arrangement for these. Nice clear set of instructions. This looks very simple to build. If you've got Hit the Beach, this is in fact the same tank sprue, which we're going to have a look at in a moment. And the only significant difference is you probably need to put the skirts on it, which you wouldn't normally with an American tank. So I'll put a link in the notes to our Hit the Beach unboxing if you want to have a look at this sprue in more detail. There's loads of them in there, and from third parties, including if you follow our affiliate link to Wayland Games, I think it's less than 30 quid, and you get 8 of them in there. So once you've got this card, this is a fantastic force to work with. So this sprue then, we've got the running gear all in a single piece, we've got the turret, we've got an option for several different gun types on here. The earlier and the later gun are different in terms of how they are mounted. So you'll see there's this up-armoured mantlet here, which goes on for later ones, and we have the 2 different transmission covers, the plain one being more common on the American tanks, and the 3-part transmission cover being more common on the British tanks. We have an open and closed cupola, a few additional bits of stowage, as you would expect, and we've also got the standard 2 machine guns that we find. But the nice pieces on this sprue, which really fix it as being for the desert, I guess, or certainly for a long campaign, is we get this nice little bit of tarp on the side, because tank crews would often get out of the vehicle as often as they possibly could and try and get under cover in the desert. And the skirts, as I say. But yeah, once you've got this, you can get a whole bunch of these in the Hit the Beach set for peanuts. Let's have a look at the cards then. Sorry, I should have said this is the 2017 M4A1 tank sprue. So unlike the more modern tanks, these have actually come in a little Ziploc bag, which is nice. So the Sherman II herself, we have Initiative 4, Firepower 4, Armour 1, and 4 hull points for 14 points. And the only special rule that applies here is the semi-indirect fire, which is the British normal rule. For 14 points, this is not bad, and 4 firepower is fairly respectable for the game. In terms of the upgrade cards, we'll start with the unique, I'll move this other stuff out of the way. We'll start with the unique British one. Their hero card is a tank commander, Raymond Briggs. While in the Sherman tank, gain +1 armour. Other Sherman tanks in your platoon gain +1 initiative in the movement phase. Initiative in the movement phase is one of the most important stats in the game, and for a 5-point upgrade, I would say that that was a fantastic use of points. It's because it buffs the whole brigade. We have an upgrade card. Interestingly, I've not seen these before. This one is American or British, and it is Sherman Platoon. This tank gains +1 initiative for each other Sherman or Firefly in your force with this upgrade. This may only be added to a Sherman or a Firefly. Again, 2 points, and that's overall +1 initiative, not just in the movement phase. So you've got a lot of Sherman tanks, and at 14 points you could have 8 of these guys. You could get quite a healthy buff on that. Then the 3 generic cards that we have. The Liquid Courage is 1 point. This tank may reroll failed repair rolls for bailed out, shell shocked or stunned crew. If you've got a point lying around, it might be worth it. Oop, just realised you can't really see those. Focused Loader, while stationary, if this tank scores any uncancelled hits, you may exchange 1 critical for 2 hits. Not bad for a 2-point upgrade. Does take up the loader slot though, and there's a lot of competition there. And the Radio Coordinator. During the shooting phase, another friendly tank gains this tank's initiative. If you had something big and powerful, I can imagine that'd be useful. And it is a universal. So these stats compared to things like Panther look relatively low, but you really need to be comparing the Sherman II with the kind of tanks that the British were using in the desert, which are really quite weak. Alright then, let's have a look at the model and see some stills. Please remember to like, comment, share or subscribe this video, and if you are buying new games or new miniatures, please consider following our affiliate link to Wayland Games. It gives us a little bit of kickback and helps fund other projects for the channel. Thank you for watching.